Go ahead, Rosalie, then.
Zarathustra returned. On the third day, Erich was more cautious. Cycling home from school, he saw Baba from a distance and thought, there he is again. He'll spoil my evening.
Excuse me. Rosalie, what page are you on?
1334.
1334.
Just before that.
That we're about 10, 11 pages past that. And I don't remember anything about, well, it could have been back there. But Erich should not be in this equation here. Erich is not on the scene as yet.
I just put it on the screen so we can read from the screen.
That sounds good.
You will need to be a little bigger.
Why don't we let Marvin read first, since he has to go to his medical appointment?
Yeah, I really only got about 5 minutes. So
Go ahead,
yeah,
read,
I'll do a short reading
for 5
to start
minutes.
us. Okay. This is a conversation between Gandhi and Baba, 1931. What do you think about the West from your experiences and tours, Gandhi asked. In America, the spiritual hunger is intense. That is why I went and stayed there for a month. There is everything there materially. There is wealth, there are brains, there is heart. In other words, there is sufficient preparedness for spiritual growth and development. Chanji then narrated the detail of Baba's tours, his meetings with people from all denominations and walks of life, their sincere aspirations for truth, and the formation of a group to spread Baba's cause. Gandhi asked, then there is an awakening and interest about spirituality in America? Baba, yes, there is much, Baba answered, but the Americans have not had proper light and guidance by a master in this direction. If they get these, they will respond wonderfully. And what about England? In England, there is also an interest and longing, but not as intense as in America. The response that Americans gave was so splendid that even now I am debating whether to go there again or stay there. They would not let me go and have extracted a promise from me to return soon. Only then did they let me leave. I came back to India because there is much work to do here. I have left behind instructions there with my followers in the West about what to do in my absence. I now have to look into all affairs on this side. There is a greater need for you to be here in India, looking to all the situations, Gandhi stated. If I am arrested, you will have to take care of affairs here. That will be seen to and done, Baba promised. I undertake to settle all this self-government struggle, but on one condition. After all this is settled, you are to come with me to America. Gandhi immediately stretched his hand to Baba and said, I promise. A group of Gandhi's close associates were standing at a distance listening to this conversation. Hearing Gandhi's promise to Baba, Bhabhai Patel asserted himself into the conversation. Footnote. Sardar Patel was the president of the Congress Party and later became the first deputy prime minister of India. And he said, but Bapuji, while you are giving promises, do you think of us and ask our advice in these matters? Gandhi replied, once the struggle for independence is settled, who will care for you or me? Then it is a question between him, Baba, and me. I have already promised, turning to Baba, haven't I? Yes, you have. And you have also promised once before that after you retire from politics, you would come and stay with me. But after the struggle ends, when will that day dawn? Gandhi sighed. Where are you going from here? Gandhi then asked Baba. Nasik? Yes, Nasik. Then I have one request to make. I believe that a large number of untouchables are coming to see you in Nasik. Will you please tell them that all this storm that they have raised about entering a temple there is futile? Dr. Ambekar has made himself their leader. He is an educated man, but due to the defect of age-old caste prejudices and systems, the Hindu society does not encourage or sympathize with him and try to keep him out. And out of vindication for this wrong, he has started this campaign for the cause of the untouchables and tries to excite their feelings against the Hindus, the Brahmins. Gandhi continued, I'm going to fight for the untouchables until the end of my life, but I want to destroy the prejudice of untouchability, root and branch. I want to make them one with Hindu society and religion, blend in with the other castes. But they are now trying to establish themselves into a separate class as untouchables by asking for separate elections, etc., from the government, the very thing that I want to do away with. Baba responded, I have already advised these untouchables and their leaders who came to me. I intend to advise them to fight for their rights non-violently. The leaders of both the Brahmins and the untouchables come to me. Gandhi said, this is why I ask this of you. I am sure they will listen to you and follow your advice. Therefore, I request you to explain and bring them round. It is a great work. I am sure Dr. Ambedkar will listen to you. Baba assured Gandhi that he would do so. Baba then embraced Gandhi, saluted the other politicians, and left. A day after meeting Baba, Gandhi and Sardar Patel were arrested by the British and remanded to Iravada prison. During the following years, until Mahatma Gandhi's assassination in 1948, Baba continued to send either Chanji or Ramju to Gandhi with specific messages. Gandhi also continued to send messages to Baba, but no further personal meeting was ever to take place between them. And one footnote says, another later disciple, C.D. Deshmukh, professor of philosophy, was also sent periodically to Gandhi with messages from Baba. Okay, I'm going to have to stop the reading and get on with my appointment today. So I'll say
Thanks.
Jai Baba to everyone and see you next time.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Go ahead, Rosalie.
Whenever Chanji visited Gandhi, no matter how preoccupied he was at the time, Gandhi would leave what he was doing to talk with Chanji and inquire about Meher Baba and his activities. Baba had detailed his plans for the establishment of different centers in the West. And upon their return to India, Aga Ali was sent to Persia to arrange for lands and properties for retreats there as well. After the work in Persia was completed, Aga Ali was instructed to return to Bombay and remain there with his father until Baba called him. Chanji accompanied Ali to Karachi and returned to Bombay 10 days later, around 16th January 1932, after meeting Pilamai, Jal Karawala, and others there. Baba remained at Banubai's in Bombay for 2 weeks, giving the opportunity of his close contact to his many lovers there. He also visited the homes of some of his followers, such as Munshiji and Pudumji. Once while in Bombay, Baba suddenly informed Kakabaria, I've caught pneumonia. Get some antiphlogiston, a heated paste-like ointment, and apply it to my chest. Kaka was quite astonished by this, for Baba looked all right, but he applied it as directed. 2 days passed without further incident. Then Bachamai, Dada Chanji, came to see Baba and informed him that 2 days before, his son Dara had come down with double pneumonia and had been seriously ill. Baba related, I too had pneumonia. If I had not caught it, Dara would have died. Dara was still quite ill and had a dangerously high fever. The doctors had given up hope. Baba went to see him. The next day, Dara's temperature became normal, but Baba was observed to be suffering a high fever. Bachamai asked him, Baba, why are you doing this? Dara is all right, but now you have a fever. You have taken his suffering upon yourself. Let him die, Baba. You must not suffer. Baba smiled at the woman's brave words and was pleased with her love and detachment. From Navsari, Sorabji Desai came with his niece Mansari and other family members. One day, Mansari asked Baba for some work with which to serve him. Baba directed her, go out into the bazaar and bring me some jamun, a type of plum, but don't go too far. Find some nearby and come back. Mansari left for the bazaar, but had trouble finding the fruit since it was not in the season. Despite Baba's order, she looked far and wide in the city for several hours, only to return empty-handed. She thought it would have pleased Baba if she had been able to find a few of the plums. But Baba responded, obeying my order was more important than bringing the fruit. Always remember to obey me. By sticking to what I tell you, you will please me. KJ Dastur had taken umbrage at not being included in the trip to the West. And consequently, as mentioned, he had started to write and speak against Baba to the point that he even vented his anger in the magazine, MEHER Message. But when Baba returned, Dastur immediately came to see him and expressed his regret over what he had done and the misunderstandings he had caused. Soon after Baba's return, Memo arrived from Pune with money. This little, quotes, ray, end quotes, now longed to be near the sun always. But a year still remained before Mani would move into the ashram with the other women mandali. And Memo clearly indicated to Baba that she was not anxious to give up her only daughter to him. Before leaving Bombay, Baba obtained a new Persian passport on 16th January 1932. No signature or thumbprint was given for it. Can we read the footnotes? Yeah. On Baba's passport is written, quotes, profession, spiritual master, end quote.
I love that.
Yeah. He then returned to Nasik, where the men and women mandali received him heartily with joy. The women members of the ashram, Mera, Dalit Frani, Naja, Sunamasi, Small Khorshid, Gulmai, her daughter Dali, and Big Khorshid were finely dressed to greet the beloved. And some of them even played musical instruments to welcome him. Dina Talati, Khatija, Abdullah, and Amina Jaffer also took part in Baba's homecoming celebration, along with Rustam and Frani's children, Meru, Nagu, their brothers, and Naval and Dina Talati's daughters, Jeru and son Khurshid. Meru and her sister and brothers would play games with Baba. From her childhood, Meru had loved Baba as her heart's treasure, and she was to join the women mandali after completing her education. As instructed by Baba, the women mandali in Nasik had been dressing in long-sleeved cotton blouses with traditional cloths tied around their heads. After his return from the West, Baba relaxed this order. For his entertainment, the women staged a play for Baba, the story of which Baba had given them before departing for England. Baba liked the play so much that he invited the men to see it, and it was repeated the next day. After this, the men never saw MEHER again for many years. Among those of the men Mandali living in Meherabad during Baba's absence were Bala Tambat, Gustaji, Karim Pleader, Rao Saheb, and Sidhu, two boys, Kalingad and Biwa, who were formerly in the MEHER ashram, had stayed with Baba's men Mandali in Nasik after the disbanding of the school. Footnote. Another boy, Shapur, was also in Nasik with the Mandali, but he was sent to Ahmednagar at this time to work at Sarosh Motor Works. During Baba's visit to the West, Karim had left Meherabad, never to return. When Baba came to Meherabad from Nasik, he ordered Karim's trunk flung into the well. Soon after, Baba transferred all the Mandali to Nasik. The following men were then staying with Baba in Nasik: Adi Senior, 29, Boal Saheb, 40, Chanji, 40, Chagan, 26, Gustaji, 43, Jalbai, 30, Masaji, 65, Padri, 29, Pendu, 29, Rao Saheb, about 30, Rustam, 33, Sidhu, 30, and Vishnu, 29. Others like Gani, Ramju, and Sadashiv Patil, who were in Baba's close contact, would come and go. Ramju and Naval were residing in Nasik with their families at the Sarosh Motor Works, as was Kakabaria. Baidul had been sent back to Persia and was conducting a school there. During this period, one occasional visitor was Minochar Nasrawan Karas, 22, of Karachi. Minu, as he was called, had come to Nasik to attend the police training school. Minu had always been interested in finding God and had many questions about the meaning of life. And although he had been raised a Zoroastrian, he had put up pictures in his room of Christ, Ram, Buddha, and various holy men. In January of 32, a barber came one morning to shave Minu. And when he saw all the pictures hung around the room, he asked Minu, "What in the world are you doing here in this police training school?" He pointed away from Minu's quarters and suggested Minu visit a certain holy man who resided nearby. "To whom are you referring?" Minu asked. "Sri Meher Baba," the barber replied. Minu had heard this name a few years before in Karachi and seen Baba's photo in a Gujarati newspaper. On Sunday, 17th January, 1932, Minu went to Baba's residence at the Circle Cinema, where he met Ramju, Vishnu, and Chanji, who informed Baba that a visitor had come. About his first meeting, Minu later wrote, "Within minutes, The man called Meher Baba suddenly came out to the compound and stood in front of me. Then and there, I felt within me my voice saying, Minu, here is God whom you have been searching for. And from that moment of spontaneous joy and bliss, my search ended. The moment Baba's eyes fell on me, for the first time in my life, I felt a most peculiar and indescribable sensation in each and every atom of my whole body. It was love at first sight. Mino Karas, The God Seeker, that's his book. What do you do? What do you want? Baba asked. Mina was silent, but thought, quotes, if you are real, I need not speak. You know what I crave. In fact, you know everything, end quote. Baba spelled on the board, I have heard you completely. It is since your birth that this instinct is there within you to find God. Do not worry. Do as I say. Forget the I. Every night go to sleep with thoughts of me. You are connected with me since past lives. I have to repay the debt I owe you. Not only do you love me, but I love you. Thus, Minu Karas came into the master's contact and began visiting him as often as he could. On Friday, 5 February 1932, Baba performed the engagement ceremony of his brother Baram, 24, and his fiancée from Bombay, his second cousin, Paran, 14, who was a relative of Shariarji. Footnote. Paran's grandmother, Mosutun, known as Moti, was the sister of Baba's father, Cheriarji. On the 9th, Baba joined in a game of football, soccer, with the Mandalay and staff of the Circle Cinema and Sarosh Motorworks. After the game, Baba remarked, I am the emperor of the spiritual world of today. The world is like a football to me. I can toss it up wherever I like. Meanwhile, Faram, working Bakswala, 32, had come to stay in Nasik, as Baba had ordered, and began working at the Sarosh Motorworks office with Ramju and Edke. During this period in Nasik, Baba once saved Faram's life. Here is Faram's account of the incident. I remember that I foolishly ate some castor oil seeds from a tree on the riverbank where I had gone for a stroll one day. Since lunch was not yet ready, I was hungry and the seeds tasted good. I ate lunch on my return, but I began vomiting and then having diarrhea soon afterward, which weakened me considerably. I sprawled out on the floor with no strength left to lift even a finger, but I was fully conscious. Baba was in the Circle Cinema in his room, called the dressing room, where the Mandali would gather around Baba when summoned. And when he was informed of my condition, he sent for me. I was carried there, and laid before him. He asked me where and how I had eaten the seeds, but I could not speak. He directed Adi Sr. to take me to the civil hospital, where I was given a half pint of saline. After this, my thirst was intense and unbearable, but no water was administered until evening, and that too at only 1 or 2 teaspoonsful. At about midnight, the quantity was increased, and after 24 hours, I felt much better and was discharged in the afternoon. While walking back to my place in the Mandali's quarters of the cinema, I wanted to pass by the cinema's restaurant unobserved so as to avoid being seen by Baba, who was likely to be there with the Mandali. But I was not successful, as Baba caught sight of me and exclaimed, gesturing, "Oh, he has come back alive." He called me and ordered Adi to buy refreshments of tea and pastries, which were handed round to celebrate. The Mandali were happy to get a treat so unexpectedly, but I was nervous and embarrassed. J. Dastur was also staying in Nasik at this time. K.J. Dastur. Ferrum was typing Dastur's, at times, antagonistic articles with the understanding that Dastur was doing work in MEHER Baba's name and should be helped. But Ferrum was a new member of the Mandali and quite unaware of the true state of affairs. Finally, one day, Baba called Ferrum and asked, "Who does Dastur is typing?" Ferrum replied that he did. "Why do you do it?" And Ferrum says, "Because he is doing your work." And Baba says, "Yes, he does it, but inversely. Do you also want to follow his example, you simpleton?" Ferrum did not understand, and Baba dismissed him, commenting, "All right, do your duty." On 11 February, Dastur told Ferrum, "Go and find out why Chabu, a boy, has been dismissed from the workshop." Ferrum approached Vishnu and Wow Sahib, and they went to Baba. On their inquiry, Baba took off his sandal and slapped them with it, indicating, "This is my reply to your question. You have both wanted this prasad for days, and today I have given it to you."
Not following that, Rosalie, what does that mean?
Where are we again? Let me make it bigger. Saver. Oh, a little
Sorry.
more. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But it says he does the work inversely. And on February 11th, Dastur told Ferrum, "Go and find out why Chabu, a boy, has been dismissed from the workshop." Ferrum approached Vishnu and Babu Sahib, and they went to Baba. On their inquiry, Baba took off his sandal and slapped them with it, indicating, "This is my reply to your question. You have both wanted this prasad for days, and today I've given it to you."
Maybe it'll be explained on this page.
Yeah.
Oh, here
Baba,
it is, yeah.
yeah. Baba added, "You have been with me for years." Oh, it's up the page. "And still do not understand that there is no why or wherefore regarding my work. Even if Ferrum asks you, You should have replied that it was Baba's wish. You have made a serious mistake, which I have had to correct. Do not do it again. Let this be a lesson to others. Baba embraced Wow Sahib and Vishnu, and then called Faram, taunting him. It would have been better had you died that day you ate the castor oil seeds. You would have been saved from all the evil sanskaras you have now contracted, in whatever mild form, by asking for an explanation from me. Now these sanskaras will remain with you for lives on end, till doomsday. So I say, had you died that day, it would have been much better. Baba concluded, write against me if you like. Go on, I will be happy. Faram pleaded, but I did not want Dastur's work, and I do not want it now. He told me it was your work. Baba replied, I don't care if you do it. Even if the whole world writes against me, how could it ever affect me? I am what I am. My only advice is that you follow the dictates of your heart. Only then did Faram come to know of Dastur's hostile propaganda against Baba. He stopped helping Dastur and repented for his gullibility. Despite Dastur's recent demeanor of remorse in Bombay, once he began his attacks against Baba, he did not cease. In fact, Baba actually financed his work, the work. So long as Dastur was in Nasik, he continued to draw his monthly stipend from Baba. Even after Dastur left Nasik and found himself in dire straits, he did not hesitate to cable Baba for money, and Baba would comply.
Interesting.
Yeah. KJ Dastur not only carried out his propaganda campaign through the MEHER message in India, but in correspondence to foreign countries as well. His opposition created misunderstandings and was a hindrance to Stokes, Malcolm, and others who were trying to raise funds for Baba's work at Harman and Hancock. It was later discovered that it was Dastur who influenced the journalist Paul Brunton against Baba. But as Age noted, Dastur's limited ideas and conceptions were like a clay pot that has not been properly, quotes, baked, end quotes, in the master's kiln. Dastur.
Now, Rosalie, is this the same KJ Dastur that Baba had stand up at the East-West gathering, I think it was, and Baba said of that KJ Dastur that he was a longtime lover of his. And do you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, okay, let's go on then.
Dastur's opposition, however, was not a deterrent. On the contrary, it strengthened Meher Baba's work. In an editorial in the final issue of the Meher Message, October 1931, Dastur stated that he now considered Meher Baba to be a charlatan. From the January 1932 issue, the name of Meher Message was changed to the Mystic Review. It was funny, with hearing that charlatan, I think of Charlie Chaplin. He wrote, in April of this year, 1931, I came to the conclusion that Meher Baba was not real And all this talk of manifesting himself as an avatar was a buncombe. Some idea of the absurdity of Dastur's allegations against Baba can be had from this excerpt of one of his letters to a follower. It seems to me that on the strength of Baba's magnetic personality and possession of certain psychic powers, he has been posing as a Sadguru or an avatar. Oops.
I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe
see.
it's Mona come back.
All the other mics are off. Oh no, except for,
There,
It's
Mona's up.
Marilyn. It's Marilyn.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's trying to join in with phone.
okay. So back to the text, and let me turn the page.
Yeah. A little bigger. My reasons for not considering him as such any longer are the following. Violations of a great number of promises given by him to his disciples for their spiritual progress. Their numbers cannot be counted. Fits of temper in which he indulges, he suffers from them as any ordinary man. Moreover, unlike an ordinary man, he gets irritated over trivial matters. It seems he has less control over his mind than many of us have. Monkey tricks practiced upon disciples, leading some to believe they are advanced and then criticizing them behind their backs. And also telling both Sadhu Lake and Meredith Starr the same thing, quotes, "You are the only European member of my inner circle," end quotes. Non-fulfillment of various prophecies made by him in important as well as unimportant matters. Mischief perpetrated on boys and adults in the name of divine love, by making use of, or rather abusing, his psychic powers, especially those of hypnotism and mesmerism. Baba produced personal love for himself in the hearts of the ashram schoolboys and certain other persons, and then put them through various sufferings to serve his objective, throwing disciples as well as outsiders into Maya, instead of releasing them from it, by making several disciples work in and for the Circle Cinema, of which he became proprietor this year, and by exhibiting vulgar and sensual films at it. In conclusion, my conscience, wait a minute, a little lower. My conscience tells me that Meher Baba is a humbug and a fraud. Baba's response to all this, written by Dastur, was perfect equanimity. In one letter on behalf of the master, Vishnu wrote to Dastur, who had recently moved to Bombay, "As for your opinion of Meher Baba, he says that he loves you now with the same heart he used to love you with from the beginning. You may respect him or hate him or go against him. In any case, he loves you as he used to." Baba helped Dastur express this hostility to a great extent. But Baba did not wish for Faram to play into Dastur's hands and be influenced by him. Baba indirectly cautioned and saved Faram from following in Dastur's footsteps. Like Meher Baba's Zoroastrian arch enemy, Colonel M.S. Irani, Dastur was a wonderful example of the master's method of working, whereby Baba's antagonist received direct help from him and was even encouraged to indulge in nefarious activities against him. During a discussion on Saturday, 13th February 1932, the topic of beauty came up in the presence of a few outsiders.
Thanks, Rosalie. Should we have Mahu read now?
Sure.
Okay, page 1353 in year 1932. To explain further, Baba spelled out, I like beauty in everything. But what is beauty? The beauty that never perishes, that is immortal, is real beauty. Look at the human body. It is full of filth and death. The mouth, nose, rectum, urinary tract. What are in all these? Filth. Still men run after beautiful women. This is not beauty. It is foul, lost. Suppose you have a beautiful woman and her face gets misshapen by acid thrown on it, rendering her ugly. Then what will become of your love, quote unquote love? If your heart is quite clean and your mind is pure, you will remain unaffected, even surrounded by thousands of beautiful women. It will have no effect on you, and you will be able to appreciate beauty.
Let me just interject. Last week we read Baba saying that he had never felt desire. And here's the explanation.
Yes, there's an interesting story about Eritrean beautiful woman I can tell later. As it is, you do not love beauty but dirt, because you yourselves are unclean. Get rid of your own foulness and then find out that beauty is. Find out what beauty is. Sorry. Beauty can never be enjoyed without rooting out the dirt. Ghani 38 arrived in Nasik for Baba's birthday celebration. On the 16th, in the course talking with him, Baba lamented, quote, I have never found anyone who comes here and sticks to me through thick and thin. So many say they will, but none does. But they should be made to stick it out. If a school teacher frightens a pupil on the very first day by canning him and driving him away, then the pupil is not to blame. But here, I maintain every one of you, look to your smallest necessities and look after you in every way, and still the response is not hearty. None cares for me, though I remember and care for all. But it is not easy in the proximity of a Pirane Pir or master of masters. You have passed through lakhs of births. So just put up with one more. Look at Plitter and Bustaji, how they have been harassed and beaten, and how they have suffered, and still they have stuck with me. I have given so many false assurances in the West, which is masterful when you consider the intelligence of the people there. I have work to do in the West, and I will do it my own way. It is still just the beginning of linking the East and the West. I will take my Indian Mandiri there and bring the Western Mandiri there, here. In the end, everything will be topsy-turvy, and then I will speak. Page 1354. On Wednesday, 17 February 1932, Baba's 38th birthday was celebrated quietly with a simple program of bhajan, kirtan, bathing Baba, arti, and the distribution of prasad by Baba. While conversing with his lovers, Baba suddenly asked one of them, "What are you thinking?" You know,
So,
Baba.
Mahu, don't we celebrate Baba's birthday on another day, not 17 February?
Yeah, we celebrated on 25th February, but God
That's right,
knows why
yeah.
Baba did it on that day. Must be a reason. Yeah. So what are you thinking? You know, Baba, the man replied. Baba responded, nodding. Quote, "Yes, I do. But tell me anyway." Ghani asked why Baba always asked people to tell him and whether it was better to quote unquote speak out or to keep silent. Baba responded, "Speaking out is better always. I have come down on your level to be among you. I know everything. I know what you are thinking and what hardships you have undergone. But by my asking you to say it out loud, you will get relief and be benefited. For that reason, I ordered you to speak, which is for your good. Even if you don't reply and remain quiet, I know. But by your speaking out, it is always for your own good and to your advantage."
Great advice, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. My universal mind is the central station to which every individual mind is linked. So wherever a person may be, I know what he is thinking and doing every moment. At every moment, I know the thought of every person and the thoughts of the whole world simultaneously. Not only this, but I also know what you will think tomorrow or after 1,000 years. And I also know what you thought thousands of years before. This is knowledge, infinite and indivisible, and it is beyond your imagination.
I'll say.
In January of 1932, Kitty and a few others in England invited Baba to return there for a week in the spring to pay Baba back for the week he had given them in Paris. Baba immediately wired back, quote, "Delighted. Accept invitation from Kim Ko for 1 week." Baba's first visit to the West in 1931 had had a profound effect upon those fortunate selected individuals who came into his contact. The following are excerpts from a few of their letters. Quote, "The day of days remains present through all the day I met you. The beauty that is Sheri Baba penetrates even the commonest things. I find myself still dumb. In contemplation, you appear as the flaming rose on the tree of life, and the flame is amber gold. Another one, Meher Baba, the beloved, through whom love flows like a river of gold. Your touch has made me know that I can no longer dwell in the heresy of separateness. May it give me the courage to plunge through the flames in the world of reality, to conscious, perfect love. Please help me.
Beautiful.
Page 1355. Another one. Dear and beloved sir, you are nearing departure from our United States. I feel that I may join with the others who have been privileged to meet you in saying that America is blessed in having you. May you return soon and remain long in our midst. And another, we have been 10 days flying westward. Not 1 hour have you been absent from our hearts and minds, and the picture graces the wall of each stopping place, bringing remembrance, love, and gratitude. And another, I just want you to know that I know beyond the shadow of a doubt who you are, the living Lord of love. You are in my heart, and I know that you are holding me in yours. And another, once more, before you sail, I want to tell you that I love you and long from the depths of my soul to enter into the heart of love, illumined so that I may and may you soon return. So that I may reflect henceforth only that love. You will give, but you will remain in my heart, and may you soon return. The world needs you, for the world is starving for love. You know what my heart's dream is, and so I think of you always, that I may one day radiate and be one with shining spiritual love, the universal love that will fulfill and illuminate all mankind in deepest gratitude. And another, now that I have seen the flower of humanity, I know what is the goal of life and shall never again falter or linger on the way. Whether we come or go in time or space, we know your great love encompasses us, and our thoughts and love will be with you constantly from now. In a joint letter from Norina and Anita on 15 January 1932, they wrote, we were just thinking of you as if you were in the room with us. Your presence created is so clear in perception that all the little problems of every day become merely plays. And we, its actors, what a glorious time we live. Every hour is a new demarcation stone in our lives. Oh Baba, we begin to understand. Your creation is to us now what in its ultimate outcome means growth, understanding, resurrection. When that divine wave of love will permeate in us, its uninterrupted song, we will live in you. We will live in you, as in its way lies our whole life, as the life whose emperor is you. We talk only if we only talk of you. We kneel to this dear subject. This dear subject has become our temple. We both lay our hearts on your heart. Kim wrote on 24 February 1932. Our poor minds could not conceive anything so stupendous as Baba's beauty. I'm sorry, stupendous as Baba's beauty. Our eyes would burn up if we could only see a fragment of your loveliness. But we are content to have met you, to have been allowed to see just a fraction of what you really are. We are content to love you, even if you do not love us, and to try and serve you, not for any reward except your happiness. It doesn't matter to us what blind and foolish people say of you. We do not love you because you are a master. Oh, okay. We do not want you to do miracles. For what miracle could be more wonderful than your love and compassion that can embrace and forgive even such poor creatures as ourselves? We love you because you are Baba. Graham Stokes, Malcolm Schloss, and others in New York had been asked to raise $30,000 to fund Baba's different retreats in England and America for his trip and for his stay in America for 1 year. Chanji explained to Stokes in a letter dated 23 January 1932. It is not the question of funds at all that matters, for Baba will do his work, his great work in America, whether funds are forthcoming or otherwise. But it is for very important reasons, as he alone knows, for the great benefit of the workers themselves in this great mission of his, that he wishes them to work as he instructs. In a bulletin in January 1932, sent to those who might be interested in contributing towards Baba's work, Malcolm wrote, Shri Meher Baba intends to return to this country because he feels that this will be the field of the greatest activity, the field of his greatest activity. That in America, the new consciousness will have its first blossoming, and the new civilization, which will arise from this consciousness, will have its birth. Okay. I'm going to read this again. That in America, the new consciousness will have its first blossoming, and the new civilization, which will arise from this consciousness, will have its birth. He is coming in April because at about that time, we shall have reached the moment of our greatest crisis. There will probably be another world war, which will definitely mark the end of the old dispensation and clear the way for the manifestation of the new.
Beautiful, Mahu. Should we have another reader? Who's here? Okay, go ahead. Let me just switch back to the text.
Yep. Thank you. The retreats which are being prepared for Sri Meher Baba in America at present will be used on his return to confer on those who will participate in the establishment of the new civilization, the illumination, and the power they will need. Our present concern, in addition to preparing these retreats for Baba's return, is to help Baba raise the necessary funds for laying the material foundation of a work which will affect the transformation of human consciousness and which is therefore universal in its importance and will be worldwide in its extent. Baba still had not given up looking for an ideal boy, and he wished to find a suitable youth
Oh,
to accompany.
excuse me, Mona.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You missed. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I was distracted by Mahu's message. This is to be accomplished through voluntary contributions from people who have met Baba and have not only been themselves benefited, but who, through their contact, understand the importance of this coming. Baba still had not given up looking for an ideal boy, and he wished to find a suitable youth to accompany him to the West. Baba instructed that a classified ad be placed in the Times of India, which appeared on 27 January 1932. Wanted one boy not above 16 years of age, energetic, healthy, and good looking, to act as personal assistant, attendant to master, touring round the world. Decent pay with board and lodging. Many applicants were interviewed, but none was found satisfactory. Consequently, Baba then changed his plan and decided he wanted an intelligent girl to accompany him to the West. K.T. Rani was contacted in Quetta, but her mother did not permit her to go. So a search was conducted in Nasik and elsewhere, but no girl could be found to suit Baba's terms. Finally, on 18th February, Baba explained to the Mandali, "You people will never be able to understand my universal work. During this period of my avatarhood, I have to cleanse the world completely. This overhauling will last 1,000 years. During this present avatarhood, the greatest work will be achieved, the union of East and the West. I am the universal avatar and not an avatar for the East or West individually, as in previous advents. I belong to the whole universe. This is why the Westerners were so easily caught in my net and could begin loving me. I threw out the net and the fishes were caught. And now these fish do not want to free themselves from the net. Now that they all love me, they are prepared to work for my cause. All this activity of mine you observe outwardly, but what I do inwardly you can never know. For this reason, I say, bear with me, bear all the trouble and harassment, and continue doing as I say. I work through some medium, and the medium is necessary for my work. You will never be able to grasp it. A girl may be more suitable from your point of view, but to me, she is not fit for my work. I want a proper medium for certain work, and so I have sent back those you brought. Bring me a chaste girl who has love and devotion, who has a pure heart. The next day he added, the world has now reached a stage when a thorough overhaul of the entire working system and machinery is necessary. And this has already taken place through a change in duties assigned to walis. Many Western women came in Baba's contact during the first foreign tour, and Baba wanted an Indian girl to take with him to the West as a medium for his work. Vishnu brought his cousin Yamuna Haldankar, called Indu, whom Baba approved of, but when it was time to leave, she was ill and had to stay behind. On 21st Sunday, February 1932, Baba went to Bombay by car with Adi Senior, Golmai, Ghani, and Kaka, while the other Mandali followed by train. Footnote, please. Janji and Bau Sahab went in advance to make arrangements for their stay at Manikji and Banu Bai's. While Baba was in Bombay, Pira Mai came there on 25th February with her daughter Seela. Pila Mai was intending to stay in Nasik with the women Mandali. She had been with Baba in Mehrabad and Toka, and Baba had stayed at her home in Karachi several times. Eventually, Pila Mai stayed with Baba for several years and fervently stuck to him until the last. The search for a suitable young candidate to accompany Baba to the West continued. Another advertisement was placed in the Daily Mail instructing anyone wishing to apply to go to the Majestic Hotel where a room had been hired to interview them. Adi Senior and Adi Junior waited at the hotel, but no one turned up. Meanwhile, Pandu and Rao Saheb went out in search of a good boy or girl and brought a few, but none approved. Rustam was summoned from Nasik to aid in the search with Behram's help. Chanji contacted some at the YMCA. Ghani was sent to Lonavala to look, but returned without anyone. Two young women were brought on the 25th as possible spiritual aspirant candidates to travel with Baba. Baba gave them this explanation about love. The aim of life is to realize God. How? By making the highest ideal of religion our conduct in life. The noble ideal is love. The way of love alone is the best and easiest path to love. Only God and none besides Him. Material love is good, but it should be selfless and desireless. It should not have even a tinge of desire in it. Love should be absolutely devoid of lust, and it should be steadfast and unchanging. If you're in the mood, you will be after one man today, another tomorrow, and a third day after. This is not love. It is lust. Mind's tendency is that it always hankers after change from one thing to another, one person to another, one place to another. Have love for only one and one alone. The girls were not chosen, but they came back several times to meet Baba. The next day, they expressed the doubts about Baba's divine state, and Baba urged them to voice them candidly. One asked, why do you state so often that people love you and so on? Baba explained, why shouldn't I say so? What's the harm? I, sorry, why shouldn't I say so? What's the harm in openly declaring the facts? Mansur said, Anal Haq, I am God. Jesus said, I and my father are one. Krishna said, Aham Brahm Asmi. Mansur was beheaded, Jesus was crucified, and Krishna's words were misunderstood as vanity or self praise. Yet they all declared it openly to the world. I also say it. You too have an affinity for the spiritual path. As to doubts, let them come. As long as there is mind, there will be doubts. The mind always works that way, going one way and then another. It will be steady later on when you have some sort of conviction. This mandali of mine have been with me for years and are now prepared to cut their throat for me, for they have years of my sahavas and some conviction. You too will feel conviction one day, and then it will be all right. Why is it that we had much faith before seeing you and much less after seeing you. It is always the case with those who have too much love and faith before seeing me that they get cold after seeing me till they have some conviction or till the faith is automatically restored in the natural course.
Okay, shall we have another reader? P.S.
She
Would
cannot
you
read
like to
today. She's
read?
only
Oh,
listening.
uh-huh. Okay,
I'm
well,
happy. Or if you
I'll
want to
take,
read,
I haven't taken a turn, so
oh, that'd be lovely.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Page 1360. Well, let me just read the previous sentence. It is always the case with those who have too much love and faith before seeing me, that they get cold after seeing me, till they have some conviction or till the faith is automatically restored in the natural course. Then, once restored, it won't be shirked. You will have it one day because of your preparation. Don't fear or worry. Remember, whether you think of me favorably or unfavorably, it's all the same to me. You are thinking of me either way. That is all I want. I see my own self in all. So how could I love the one who thinks favorably and hate the other who thinks unfavorably? All are equal in my eyes. So don't worry, favorably or otherwise, just think of me. But Baba, however much we try, other undesirable thoughts intrude. Never mind, let them come and go. At least do this much. For 5 minutes before retiring to bed, just try to think of me. Bring the image of my face before your eyes, and I will help you spiritually. Baba left Bombay for Baroda on Monday, 29 February 1932. From there, he traveled to Navsari on the 1st of March. It was a surprise visit. The Desai family had been wired only half an hour in advance that Baba was coming, and all were hurriedly making the necessary preparations, cleaning the house, cooking food, preparing sleeping accommodations. It was a chaotic scene. Sarabji Desai rushed to the station to meet Baba just as his train arrived. 4 Tongas were hired to convey them to Sarabji's residence. When they arrived, Baba was received with reverent love by the entire family, all of whom were devoted to him. Mansari and Kaikobad Dastur were also present. Sarabji was exultant and fell at Baba's feet as he poured out his heart. My life and my family's lives have found fulfillment today. Every particle of this house, every sapling in its garden is vibrant with joy. A change in the wind of fortune has brought new life to us. Master, there is nothing in the world except your grace. By the support of your feet, we have gained everything. Lord, keep us always at your feet. May we breathe our last with your holy name on our lips. This is my only prayer. Baba took Sarabji in his arms and tears flowed from the old man's eyes. The whole family was touched by the sight, and each one's eyes were tearful as they gazed into the depths of their own heart. Soon after they settled in, Baba asked Kaka to clip his fingernails for him He then asked for 9 buckets of water for a bath. Dressed in clean clothes, Baba came into the sitting room and asked Sarabji's niece, Bapai, "How do I look?" "Very handsome," she replied. "Because I get love from all," Baba remarked. In the afternoon, Baba visited Lun Sikui, a large park where the children of the city came to play cricket and have a snack from one of the many vendors serving different kinds of food. He then visited the port of Navsari. Later that day, Baba had a meeting with everyone in the Desai family. Like so many others in Navsari, Ardashir Desai had found out about the master through Sorabji, a distant relative. During Baba's visit, Adair came to Sorabji's house with a young singer named Bachubhai Jairam Soni, who sang a few bhajans. Bachubhai was destined to become a lifelong lover of Meher Baba, as was Adair's younger brother, Keki. Baba left Navsari by train the next morning, 2 March 1932, for Bombay, where he arrived at 7 p.m. Coincidentally, the group met Homi Vajifdar, an old acquaintance at the Dadar station. It was a touching scene when Vajifdar, who was the former cricket star who had stayed in Manzil-e-Mim, met Baba after 7 years of separation. Baba once again stayed at Kaka's sister's home. He and the men went for an hour walk that night to Karnak Bridge, joining Crawford Market and Frere Road, and around the Bori Bunder area. They returned after having ice cream. Vajifdar came to Manekji's the next day with his family and invited Baba to his home. Jamshed Desai also came to pay his respects. Baba went to Vajifdar's home for a Dansak lunch on the 4th and left Bombay for Nasik with Kaka and Adi Sr. on Sunday, 6 March 1932. In Nasik, preparations were set in motion for Baba's second trip to the West. Rustum and Chanji alone had accompanied Baba to the West on the first trip, but this time 12 of the Mandali were to accompany him. The men were divided into 2 groups of 6 each. One group was to proceed to China, the other to England and America with Baba. Baba explained to those going to China that he would call them to America when he arrived there. The 6 going to China were Gustaji, Jalbai, Pendu, Rao Saheb, Rustum, and Vishnu. In his own party, Baba was taking his 2 other brothers, Adi Jr. and Bairam, Adi Sr., Chanji, Gani, and Kaka. Although Adi Jr. was a minor of 17 years old, to get him his own passport, Baba instructed him to write on his application that his birth date was 18 September 1912, making him over 18, the legal age to travel unaccompanied by an adult. So page 1362, good place to pick up next time.
Thank you, Eugene. We'll end the recording here. Page 1362, no? Yeah.